Apparently those staples are metric because you can't seem to figure them out.
Yeah, these are pretty heavy duty staples. I always like this stuff.
I spent more money with rough country doing this conversion than did anything else. The lift kit, the drive shaft.
Hey buddy, what are you doing? So let's see what we got under here.
So the last major project on this Jeep build is the slip yoke eliminator and the extended drive shaft. For those of you that don't know what that is, the slip yoke is in the transfer case and allows the drive shaft to stretch out a little bit as the suspension flexes. The problem that it creates for us is that it extends the transfer case and shortens the drive shaft. And adding the suspension lift and removing the transmission lowering kit greatly steepens the angle of the drive shaft, putting far too much strain on the factory slip yoke and U-joint. This kit puts the slip in the drive shaft and extends it, while also shortening the reach of the transfer case. This drastically decreases the steep angle that was created by my decision to ditch the transmission lowering kit in order to achieve those beautiful engine clearances we achieved in Part 5.
There we go. Wow.
So once again in this build, it's out with the old and in with the new. And this might not be essential in everybody's build. It certainly is a worthy upgrade.
There should be some fluid coming out of here, but no one ever checks their transfer cases. Let's see. This is, look how big this is and how small this is. So you get, you know what I'm saying, that U-joint could really go in there without hitting.
And the first thing we had to do after getting all these parts was to do a lot of our own homework. Neither one of us had any experience doing this, so we certainly had a lot to learn before getting started.
You're hurting my feelings. You know I do have feelings. I know you don't think so, but...
Yeah, well, they're not in metric, so I don't care about your feelings. Like, you're only 3/8 sad to me.
Like...
And I don't know what that means, so that means you're not sad. So I'll start this out by saying this is not a how-to video. And for all I know, it might be a how not to. We did the best we could with the available information. And just let it fly. The chain is pretty stretched and probably should have been replaced. But after eating the cost of this kit, it's just not something I can swing right now. So with the transfer case apart and out from under the Jeep, we have to remove the factory slip yoke shaft and replace it with the kit shaft that is much shorter. To do this, we're going to need to remove the gears off the shaft. And that only takes a couple of snap rings, which we didn't have pliers for.
Okay. I think we did it faster than the other guy in the other video with the nice clean transfer case. What do you think?
Yeah, and special tools.
A special tool, yeah.
Never underestimate the powers of Kirk's hacking abilities.
The hack, yeah, it was brute force that got that off.
The glove was over the lens, yes. It was right there. It is right there.
Fancy. You get this nobule.
Okay, so we get new. Okay, good.
And the nipple winger cover plate. There's a new bearing in it.
The new bearing is in. Oh, good.
The new bearing's in it, yeah. So we don't have to worry about that at all. Yeah, it's perfect.
You know, I did have a clean garage here, but I don't. Yeah, just wing that. Okay.
To apply those old gears to the new shaft, we also need to press out the needle bearings.
Yeah, we got to get this cleaned up. I don't use it all the time, obviously.
Really? I never would have guessed. Sometimes, Kirk, not very often, I think that you may be cluttered.
Somebody was using this besides me.
Maybe a possum, from the looks of it.
A possum. Put that pin in the next hole here. You got
There's
one?
not a hole there. You
Next one down there. There we go.
Wait.
All the way through, all the way through.
Well, there's grass growing through it. Yeah, so there's the needle bearings right in there. First of all, the new shaft eliminates the needle bearings.
Right,
we don't need them anymore.
Which is, I would think the needle bearings would be a good thing, but not. So it's going to be metal on metal.
So the new shaft is actually the perfect size to press them out.
To put on, yeah. How much room there? Play with, okay.
Bingo.
There we go.
It's craziness. Okay.
Yeah.
There. See, but when I'm hitting it, I'm not going straight down. I'm hitting a cockguide, so it's pushing it. There.
This shaft also drives your speedometer gear, something we completely forgot to mark or look into when we took apart.
The speedometer housing into the new outlet housing. You will need to determine the proper position for your unit by determining which speedometer gear tooth count your vehicle has. There are 4 possible types.
Just so everybody's aware, that is video proof that Kirk reads instructions.
This one time, and it's not helping me.
The one thing that threw us off for a little while was for the new housing to go on. The shift rod cannot be taller than an inch when engaged in 4-low, so it had to be cut, and this was probably Kirk's favorite part of the whole project.
Look at that. Oh, there's the 4 positions it was talking about right there. Well, no, because you can feel it jamming up.
We're just guessing that this is actually going to function properly. No. Oh, there it goes. Now it's spinning. Yeah.
Is it going?
Yeah.
All right.
And that's that for now.
So early on in this build, when the lift kit was installed, this skid plate was actually replaced and dropped, but unfortunately was never painted and protected, and the frame was not cleaned up either. An early build mistake I completely intend to correct. Kirk was away when I did the skid plate in the frame, and I stayed up pretty late doing it. Now you may notice throughout this series that I don't let Kirk touch the cameras very often, and part of the reason for that is that he was in charge of filming for the transfer case going back together and making the gasket, and you see how that went. And when I showed up the next morning to get the transfer case in, he was sitting under the Jeep with the camera pointed at what he was doing with it shut off. So this video is what it is. I hope you can still learn something from it and enjoy it. Kirk, are you ready to drive this thing out of here today?
Yes, I am. I have no idea.
Good thing you got all that video of putting the transfer case in.
It really is a terrible shame that there is no video of this transfer case going back together or being installed. I have to hand it to Kirk on this. He really blew my mind yet again on how professional this transfer case turned out.
And this frame does need some serious attention in some spots. That's like terrible right there. You didn't?
Woo! Okay. Slobbered on there. Well, she's 30 years old, you know.
Someone did a nice job on that. Even took the time to protect your rust and not make sure it didn't get painted.
I'm really glad you didn't keep that truck. I would have been very upset.
I know you would have. I'm sitting here thinking, if I hit any of this rust with paint or something to clean it off with, I'm going to get yelled at.
Where's that thing at?
That skid plate did come out really nice, man.
That's the nicest part of the Jeep.
Shut up.
Oh, here, another bolt right there for you.
Oh, what have I got? What am I, fucking Dr. Octopus?
No, you should be able to drop that and put that in there. There you go.
I thought you were putting those spacers there. Because these bolts are too long. The original bolts that we took out of this thing is what we should have saved. Because that's what we'd be using right now.
You got them here somewhere.
These are the bolts for the lowering kit. We had no problem with those big spacers. I don't know what you're talking about, why we didn't like them.
Oh, because you thought the engine tilted back too much.
Oh, you mean the lowering kit itself.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
It made the engine tilt back too far and we couldn't get the clearance we needed.
Right, okay.
That's the whole reason we bought this kit.
Right, okay, so.
Man, the memory on you.
Right now, go look at your engine. Tell me how level it is.
Kirk, we're not putting the lowering kit back in. That's the whole reason that we did this. Remember? You are a very distractible man, Kirk, by the way.
But what about our spacer we had in here? That's what's bothering me. You remember? Because I
The
had...
spacer that you demanded and talked about how... Do you know what you just did?
Bring it down a little bit.
Fine. Okay, whatever.
I thought that's what we did.
No, that's not what we did. But go ahead, just do it.
Okay.
Just do it so we can put it together and it's wrong and we can have a good laugh here.
No, we had a nut in there. We had that castle.
Yeah, we have a nut in there. He's underneath the fucking leaf spring.
We had this castle nut in there, remember?
You're a castle nut.
Because we want to tighten it up, because we don't want to run out of threads, right? That was your... I don't know what...
I'm just gonna gargle Drano right now and just end it.
I don't know what you want. That's what you wanted, was it?
It's not though,
Okay.
but it's...
All right, okay, show me what you're doing over there. I'm trying to get in your head here.
The skid plate bolts against the frame. That's it.
That's it.
That's the whole reason we bought this kit. That's the whole reason we bought this kit.
Okay.
It's because we eliminated the lowering kit, but somebody, we're not going to mention who on camera, lost the original bolts, so we have stuck with these long dong silver ones.
Right. All right.
So we have to shim them until we can find the regular bolts. Boom, shimmed. That's it. They just stick down like scumbag thumbs. Look. That's it. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm looking at that angle. I mean, it's better than what it was, you know.
Well, it's better than what it was in a couple of ways. Now, instead of having the slip in the transfer case, now the slip is in the drive shaft, right?
Don't make me yell at you.
I take it my job is going to be to hold that up while you Kirk?
Your job is to keep those big gloves out of my face.
I mean, all joking aside, I mean, you did that while I was gone, and it's not on film for anybody to see, but you did a really good job with that.
Thank you. There we go. Very good.
Is it spinning?
Yep.
All right. I think the drive shaft is a little short.
It is. That's what I'm saying. We're going to bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, but that's not from bringing it down. That's because the drive shaft is a little short.
So
We should have got the 6-inch lift drive shaft. That drive shaft angle looks marvelous. I mean,
well, once the ass end goes down, you're not going to be saying that. But that's all right.
There shouldn't be much stress in those U-joints, so we had to pick it up so far to bolt it in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So we got to tighten your back tires back up.
So I got the 4.5-inch lift extended drive shaft when I should have got the 6. So the drive shaft's a little short, and the transfer case chain's a little worn. But it's all going to have to do, because we're dropping this Jeep, and it's time to take it for a test drive. Both of us were just too eager and impatient. After such a long project, we just wanted to see this get going down the road. And with that, my two diesels are parked side by side. And at last, this Jeep is ready for a test run. I want to thank everybody that stuck with me through this whole ridiculous video. Next, in the 10th and final part, we get to see how this all ended up. How it runs, how it drives, and how it sounds. Stay tuned and thanks for watching.